Michael used to laugh, and when he laughed, he used to cry. We'd been here 30. Well, he wasn't well, and well, he died in 2001 of lung cancer.
You're walking down a busy street, but everything around you is slowly fading into darkness. The faces of people you love become blurry shadows. The words on a script that once brought you joy are now just meaningless marks on a page. This isn't a nightmare. This is a heartbreaking reality that Dame Judi Dench, one of the greatest actresses of our time, faces every single day at 90 years old. Today, we're going to tell you the tragic story of a woman who has given the world over 6 decades of pure magic on screen and stage, only to have her greatest gift slowly taken away from her in the cruelest way possible. What you're about to learn about Judi Dench's current situation will absolutely break your heart. Before we dive into the tragedy that's unfolding today, let's go back to where it all began. Judi Dench wasn't born into wealth or fame. She was just a regular girl from York, England, born on December 9th, 1934. Her parents were simple, hard-working people who probably never imagined their daughter would one day become a household name around the world. From a very young age, Judi knew she was different. While other children were playing with toys, she was putting on little shows for her family. She would dress up, create characters, and perform with such passion that everyone who watched knew she had something special. But even then, nobody could have predicted the incredible journey that lay ahead. When Judi first stepped onto a professional stage in the 1950s, the world of acting was very different. There were no fancy special effects, no huge movie budgets, and certainly no social media to make you famous overnight. Success came from pure talent, hard work, and dedication. And Judi had all three in abundance. Her early years were filled with small roles in theater productions. She wasn't a leading lady yet. She was just another young actress trying to make it in a very tough business. But there was something about her performances that made people stop and pay attention. She had this incredible ability to become completely different people right before your eyes. When Judi acted, she didn't just play a character, she became that character completely. As the years went by, Judi's talent became impossible to ignore. She started getting bigger roles, first in theater and then on television. British audiences fell in love with her natural charm, her incredible range, and her ability to make them laugh one minute and cry the next. But it was when she stepped into the world of movies that Judi really became a global sensation. Remember, this was a time when British actors weren't automatically considered for Hollywood roles. The movie industry was dominated by American stars, and breaking through as a British actress was incredibly difficult. Judi didn't let that stop her. Role after role, she proved that talent has no nationality. Whether she was playing a queen, a teacher, a villain, or a loving mother, she brought such depth and authenticity to every character that audiences couldn't help but be completely captivated. Then came the role that would change everything, in the James Bond movies. When Judi first appeared as a tough, no-nonsense head of MI6, she brought a completely new energy to the Bond franchise. She wasn't just another pretty face in a Bond film. She was a powerful, intelligent woman who could hold her own against the world's most famous spy. Audiences loved her so much that she played the role for over 2 decades, appearing in 7 Bond films. But Judi's success wasn't limited to action movies. She proved time and again that she could do anything. Comedy, drama, romance, historical pieces. There wasn't a genre she couldn't master. When she won the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress for her role as Queen Elizabeth I in Shakespeare in Love, it wasn't just a victory for her. It was a victory for every actor who had ever been told they weren't Hollywood material. By the time Judi reached her 60s and 70s, she had become something very rare in Hollywood, a true legend who was still at the top of her game. While many actors her age were being pushed aside for younger stars, Judi was busier than ever. Directors fought to have her in their movies. Scripts were written specifically with her in mind. She had become the kind of actress that could make any movie better just by being in it. During this period, Judi wasn't just acting. She was inspiring. Young actresses would study her performances to learn their craft. Veteran actors would speak about her with nothing but admiration and respect. She had achieved something that very few people in any profession ever achieve. She had become truly irreplaceable. Her personal life was also filled with joy during this time. She had been married to her beloved husband, Michael Williams, for 30 years. They had a beautiful daughter together, and their love story was one that made people believe in true love. Michael was also an actor, and together they were one of Britain's most beloved couples. Everything seemed perfect. Judi had a career of her dreams, a loving family, and the respect of everyone in her industry. She was healthy, active, and showing no signs of slowing down. If someone had told her then what was coming, she probably wouldn't have believed it. But life is a way of surprising us when we least expect it. In 2001, tragedy struck Judi's personal life when her husband Michael died from lung cancer. The woman who had brought so much joy to millions of people around the world was suddenly faced with unimaginable grief. Losing the love of your life is devastating at any age, but for Judi, who was in her late 60s, it felt like her world was falling apart. Michael wasn't just her husband. He was her best friend, her biggest supporter, and her constant companion. They had shared everything together for 3 decades, and suddenly she was alone. But Judi did what she had always done when faced with challenges. She threw herself into her wake. Acting became her escape, her therapy, and her way of dealing with the pain. She took on role after role, keeping herself busy and trying to fill the emptiness that Michael's death had left behind. For a while, it seemed to work. Judi continued to deliver incredible performances, and audiences had no idea the pain she was carrying inside. She smiled at premieres, gave interviews, and continued to be the professional she had always been. But those close to her could see that something had changed. The spark in her eyes wasn't quite as bright as it used to be. Still, Judi persevered. She found love again with conservationist David Mills, and although they never married, their relationship brought some happiness back into her life. She continued working, continued inspiring people, and continued being the incredible actress everyone knew and loved. Then, in 2012, came news that would change everything. At the age of 77, Judi received a diagnosis that no actor ever wants to hear. She was told she had age-related macular degeneration, a condition that gradually destroys the central vision needed for seeing fine details and performing everyday activities like reading and driving. For most people, this diagnosis would be devastating. But for an actress whose entire career depended on being able to read scripts, see other actors, and navigate film sets, it was absolutely catastrophic. Imagine being a painter and slowly losing the ability to see colors, or being a musician and gradually losing your hearing. That's what Judi was facing. At first, the condition was manageable. Judi received treatments and was able to continue working with some accommodations. Scripts were printed in larger fonts. Lighting was adjusted on sets. Other actors and crew members helped guide her when needed. Her determination to keep working was inspiring, but also heartbreaking to watch. Judi herself was initially optimistic. She spoke publicly about her condition, not looking for pity, but to raise awareness and show others with similar conditions that life could go on. She said she refused to let macular degeneration define her or stop her from doing what she loved most. But as the years passed, it became clear that this wasn't a battle that could be won through sheer determination alone. The condition was progressive, meaning it would only get worse over time. Each day brought new challenges, new limitations, and new reminders of what she was losing. What makes Judi's situation even more heartbreaking is the cruel irony of it all. Here was a woman who had spent her entire life helping people see different perspectives, see the beauty in art, see the depth of human emotion through her performances. She had opened people's eyes to the power of storytelling and the magic of cinema. And now, she was slowly losing her own ability to see. Think about what vision means to an actress. It's not just about reading lines or seeing where to walk on a stage. An actor's eyes are one of their most important tools. They communicate emotion. They connect with other actors. They draw audiences into the story. For Judi, losing her vision wasn't just losing a sense. It was losing a part of her artistic soul. The woman who had portrayed queens and commoners, heroes and villains, with such incredible depth and nuance was now struggling with the most basic aspects of her craft. The scripts that had once been her gateway to different worlds were becoming harder and harder to read. The faces of her fellow actors, once so familiar and expressive, were becoming blurry and indistinct. But perhaps the most heartbreaking part was watching someone who had always been so independent and strong having to rely more and more on others. Judi had built a career on her own talent and determination. She had never been someone who needed special treatment or accommodations. Now, she was facing reality where she couldn't even leave her house alone. Despite all these challenges, Judi continued to fight. She adapted her working methods, finding creative ways to continue acting even as her vision declined. When she couldn't read scripts clearly anymore, she had friends and assistants read them to her. She memorized lines by having them repeated over and over again. On film sets, she relied on the guidance of directors and fellow actors to help her navigate scenes. For a few more years, this system worked. Judi appeared in several more films, including Philomena in 2013, which earned her another Oscar nomination, and the second Best Exotic Marigold Hotel in 2015. Audiences watching these films had no idea the incredible effort it took for her to deliver these performances. But behind the scenes, the struggle was becoming more and more difficult. Simple things that had once been effortless, like finding her mark on a set or seeing the expressions on other actors' faces, now required enormous concentration and assistance from others. Every day of filming was a reminder of what she was losing. The emotional toll was enormous. This was a woman who had always been in complete control of her craft, who had never needed to rely on anyone else to deliver a great performance. Now, she was having to trust others to guide her through even the most basic aspects of acting. For someone with Judi's pride and professionalism, this dependency was almost as difficult to bear as the vision loss itself. Now, at 90 years old, the full tragedy of Judi's situation has become clear. Recent interviews have revealed just how much her world has shrunk. The woman who once traveled the world for film shoots, who attended glamorous premieres and award ceremonies, who lived a life full of adventure and excitement, now struggles to leave her house alone. In January 2025, Judi made a heartbreaking admission that shocked her fans around the world. She revealed that her eyesight has deteriorated to the point where she can no longer go anywhere by herself. She needs a companion for even the simplest outings. The independence that she had cherished throughout her long life is gone. When asked about future film projects, her response was devastating in its simplicity. No, I can't even see. These 5 words from one of cinema's greatest actresses tell a story of loss that goes far beyond just losing a job. They tell the story of losing an identity, losing a purpose, and losing the thing that had given meaning to her entire life. The condition has progressed to the point where Judi is essentially retired from acting, not by choice, but by circumstance. The woman who had once brought so much joy and inspiration to millions of people around the world can no longer do what she loves most. It's a retirement that was forced upon her by a cruel twist of fate. The tragedy extends beyond just Judi herself. Think about her family, her friends, and the countless people in the entertainment industry who have worked with her over the decades. They are watching someone they love and admire slowly lose the ability to do what made her happiest. Her daughter, Finty Williams, who followed in her mother's footsteps to become an actress, has had to watch her inspiring, independent mother become increasingly dependent on others. The role reversal that many adult children face with aging parents is made even more poignant when that parent has been such a towering figure in the public eye. For her colleagues in the acting world, watching Judi's decline is like watching the end of an era. She represented a type of actor that seems to be disappearing from Hollywood, someone who relied purely on talent and craft rather than celebrity or spectacle. Her inability to continue working is a loss not just for her, but for everyone who believes in the power of great acting. Even her fans around the world are grieving. For many people, Judi's performances have been a constant throughout their lives. From her early work in British television to her iconic role as M in the Bond films, she has been a familiar presence bringing comfort, excitement, and inspiration. Knowing that there will be no more Judi Dench performances is like losing an old friend. What makes macular degeneration particularly cruel is that it's not a sudden loss. It's a slow, gradual stealing away of sight that happens over years. Every day brings small losses, small defeats, small reminders of what used to be possible. For Judi, this has meant years of having to constantly adapt and readjust. Just when she would figure out how to manage with her current level of vision, the condition would progress a little more, creating new challenges and limitations. It's like being forced to say goodbye to her old life piece by piece, rather than all at once. The psychological impact of this gradual loss cannot be overstated. Each day, Judi wakes up to a world that's a little bit dimmer than the day before. Colors that once were vibrant are now muted. Details that once were sharp are now fuzzy. The faces of people she loves are becoming harder and harder to make out clearly. For someone whose entire career was built on observation, on seeing the subtle expressions of other actors, on reading the emotions in a script, on understanding the visual story being told in a film, This loss of sight is devastating in ways that go beyond the practical. It's like losing a superpower that she never realized she had until it was gone. But even in the midst of this tragedy, Judi's incredible strength continues to shine through. Rather than retreating from public life entirely, she has used her situation to help others. By speaking openly about her condition, she has raised awareness about macular degeneration and has shown other people facing similar challenges that they are not alone. Her courage in the face of such a devastating loss is inspiring. Many people in her situation might become bitter or angry, might retreat from the world and focus only on what they've lost. But Judi continues to show grace, dignity, and even moments of a trademark humor when discussing her condition. She has found ways to stay connected to the world of acting even though she can no longer actively participate. She mentors young actors, sharing the wisdom and experience she's gained over 6 decades in the business. She attends events when she can, still bringing joy to people just by being present. Her relationship with David Mills continues to provide her with companionship and support. At an age where many people have lost their life partners, Judi has someone who cares for her and helps her navigate this difficult time. Their love story is a reminder that it's never too late to find happiness, even in the darkest moments. While macular degeneration may have taken away Judi's ability to continue acting, it cannot take away what she has already given to the world. Her legacy is secure in the hundreds of performances she delivered over her incredible career. From her early work with the Royal Shakespeare Company to her final film appearances, Judi created characters that will live on forever. Her portrayal of M in the Bond films redefined what it meant to be a strong female character in action movies. Her Oscar-winning performance in Shakespeare in Love showed the world the incredible range and depth of her talent. But beyond the awards and accolades, Judi's greatest legacy might be the way she changed people's perceptions of what an older actress could be. In an industry that often discards women over 40, Judi continued to get leading roles well into her 80s. She proved that talent, skill, and experience were more valuable than youth and beauty. She showed young actresses that it was possible to have a long, successful career built on craft rather than celebrity. She demonstrated that it was possible to be taken seriously as an artist while also being warm, funny, and human. She proved that British actors could conquer Hollywood without losing their identity. Judi's story, tragic as it is, teaches us valuable lessons about life, aging, and facing adversity. She shows us that even when life takes away our greatest gifts, we can still find ways to contribute and to find meaning. Her openness about her condition has helped remove stigma around vision loss and aging. By refusing to hide her struggles, she has made it easier for others facing similar challenges to ask for help and to continue living full lives even with limitations. Her continued grace and dignity in the face of such a devastating loss reminds us that how we handle adversity defines us more than the adversity itself. Judi could have become bitter, angry, or withdrawn. Instead, she has remained generous with her time, her wisdom, and her spirit. She also teaches us about the importance of adapting to change. When her world became smaller, she found new ways to stay connected. When her old methods of working no longer functioned, she developed new ones. When her independence was compromised, she learned to accept help with dignity. But let's not sugarcoat the reality of what Judi is going through. Despite her strength and positive attitude, this is still a profound tragedy. Every morning when she wakes up, she faces a world that is darker and more limited than the world she knew for the first 75 years of her life. She can no longer see the faces of her grandchildren clearly. She cannot read a book independently. She cannot drive to visit friends or go to the theater to watch other actors perform. The simple pleasures that most of us take for granted are no longer available to her. The woman who once commanded attention on stages and movie screens around the world now needs help with tasks that she once performed without thinking. The hands that once gestured expressively during performances now reach out tentatively, feeling for familiar objects in her increasingly dim world. Her mind remains sharp, her wit intact, her wisdom profound, but these gifts are now trapped in a body that can no longer fully express them in the way she once did. It's like having a magnificent voice but losing the ability to sing, or having incredible stories to tell but losing the ability to write them down. Fortunately, Judi is not facing this challenge alone. The entertainment industry that she served so faithfully for decades is now supporting her in return. Directors, producers, and fellow actors have rallied around her, finding creative ways to include her in projects when possible and ensuring that she knows she is still valued and loved. Her family remains devoted to her care and comfort. Her daughter Finty and her grandchildren spend time with her regularly, providing the love and support that help make each day bearable. They share stories, memories, and laughter, helping to fill the spaces that her lost sight has created. David Mills continues to be a constant companion, helping her navigate both the practical and emotional challenges of her condition. Their relationship provides proof that love can flourish even in the most difficult circumstances, and that having someone who truly cares can make any burden feel lighter. The British public, who have loved Judi throughout her career, continue to send messages of support and appreciation. Fan letters, awards, and honors remind her that her contributions to the arts will never be forgotten, even if her active career has ended. Perhaps the most heartbreaking aspect of this entire tragedy is the realization that the world will never see another new Judi Dench performance. There will be no more chances to watch her transform into completely new characters. No more opportunities to see her bring scripts to life with her incredible talent. Think about all the roles she will never play, all the stories she will never tell, all the emotions she will never help audiences feel. Every script that crosses a director's desk that would have been perfect for Judi is now a reminder of what the world has lost. Young actors coming up in the industry will never have the chance to work alongside her and learn from her incredible technique and professionalism. Directors who dreamed of working with her will have to accept that those dreams will never be realized. The film and theater worlds are poorer for her absence, not just because of her individual talent, but because of what she represented. The possibility that an actor could have a long, meaningful career based purely on skill and dedication. As Judi enters what are likely the final chapters of her life, she faces them with the same courage and dignity that she has shown throughout her career. At 90, with her vision continuing to decline, she knows that her time is limited and precious. But even now, even facing these incredible challenges, she continues to inspire. Her recent interviews, while heartbreaking in their honesty about her limitations, also show a woman who has not given up on life. She still finds moments of joy, still shares her wisdom with others, and still maintains a spark that made her such a compelling performer. She speaks about her pet parrot, who keeps her entertained with his antics and provide companionship during long days when her world feels particularly small. These small pleasures, these tiny moments of happiness, become more precious when so much else has been taken away. Her home has been adapted to help her navigate more safely, with better lighting and familiar arrangements that allow her to move around independently within her own space. These modifications help preserve some of her dignity and autonomy, even as the outside world becomes increasingly inaccessible. When we step back and look at Judi's life as a whole, it becomes clear that this tragedy, devastating as it is, cannot define her entire story. For every year she has spent dealing with vision loss, she spent many more years bringing joy and inspiration to millions of people around the world. Her career spanned over 6 decades, during which she delivered hundreds of memorable performances. She won an Oscar, multiple BAFTAs, and countless other awards. She was made a dame by the Queen of England in recognition of her contributions to the arts. She worked with the greatest directors and actors of her generation and earned their respect and admiration. But more than that, she touched people's lives in ways that awards cannot measure. How many people found comfort in her performances during difficult times? How many young actors were inspired to pursue their dreams because of her example? How many audiences laughed, cried, or felt understood because of characters she brought to life? Even now, even in her current state, she continues to have an impact. Her courage in facing adversity inspires others dealing with similar challenges. Her openness about aging and loss helps society have more honest conversations about these difficult topics. But we cannot end this story by focusing only on past glories, because the present reality is still unfolding, and it remains heartbreaking. Right now, as you watch this video, Judi Dench is living in a world that grows dimmer each day. She is experiencing losses that most of us cannot imagine, facing limitations that would devastate anyone, let alone someone whose entire identity was built around their artistic abilities. The woman who once memorized pages of Shakespeare now struggles to read a simple note. The actress who once moved audiences to tears with a single glance now has trouble seeing the faces of her own family members clearly. The performer who once commanded stages and film sets now needs help just to move safely around her own home. This is not a story with a happy ending waiting around the corner. Macular degeneration does not improve. It only gets worse. Judi's world will continue to shrink. Her independence will continue to diminish. and her connection to the visual world will continue to fade. But in sharing her story, in acknowledging this tragedy, we honor not just what she has lost, but what she gave us during the decades when she was at her peak. We remember that behind every great performance is a human being who, like all of us, faces challenges, losses, and the inevitable changes that come with aging. The tragedy of Judi Dench at 90 is beyond heartbreaking because it represents the loss of something irreplaceable. When great artists are no longer able to create, the world becomes a little less bright, a little less beautiful, a little less inspiring. But perhaps the greatest tribute we can pay to Judi is to remember not just what she has lost, but what she gave us. Her legacy lives on in every performance she delivered, in every life she touched, and in every person she inspired to pursue their own dreams. As we watch her face these final challenges with grace and dignity, we are reminded of the incredible strength of the human spirit. Even in loss, even in limitation, even in the face of our greatest fears, we can still find ways to inspire others and to make our lives meaningful. Dame Judi Dench may no longer be able to see clearly, but she has helped millions of us see more clearly, see the power of great acting, the importance of dedication to craft, and the beauty that can be found in a life well lived. If this story has touched you, if it has made you think about the precious nature of the gifts we have while we have them, then please like this video and share it with others. Subscribe to our channel for more stories about the real life behind the famous faces we love. And take a moment today to appreciate the artists who continue to bring beauty into your life, because you never know when circumstances might take that gift away. Thank you for watching. And remember, the greatest tribute we can pay to artists like Judi Dench is to never take their contribution for granted.